Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or watching this channel for the very first time, um, the reason why it's called Uncommon Sense because here on this platform we talk about everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions. But not everyone uses logic. For that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I want to let everybody know that we're currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And I see we have some comments already in the chat. So, first of all, I just want to acknowledge the fact that James is in the chat. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing today? Okay, I hope you're doing well. And of course, I'm going to ask people to please subscribe, like, and hit the bell notification to all. So therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to either catch it live or catch it in the playback. And of course, we have the presence of MK Echo Chamber. Thank you very much. Okay. And then we have some more comments from James. Now, for today, what we do is what's called open discussion, meaning we're going to be talking about several different things. But before I continue, I just want to give a huge shout out to all the people who have subscribed to my channel. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me in social media. And of course, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who allow me the privilege of entering in your devices. And of course, for all of you, I want to say a big howdy and a big thank you very much for your support. And if you're not done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button as you enter. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help with the algorithm. Okay. And thanks to you, right now I'm at 146 subs. Let's see if we can reach 150 by sometime next week. I really would appreciate it very much. So what I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to drop the link, and then I'm going to put it in the chat. And if anyone wishes to join the panel, they're free to do so. Also, you're also free to enter your comments in the chat, okay? Because I do recognize that there's some people, they feel more comfortable entering the comments in the chat. And sometimes they may want to join the panel, but they may be busy, they might be at work, or they might be doing errands because this is a Saturday. And we all have our chores to do. Because during the week we're busy with work, school, and taking care of families and that sort of thing. So what I'm going to be doing is I have some notes prepared for some topics which I'm going to talk about. Also, if any one of you have any topics that we should discuss, by all means do so. And I see James will be coming up in a few minutes, hopefully. Well, okay, thank you very much. Now, the first thing I'm going to be talking about is the recent refugee situation that's happening in what's called sanctuary cities and states like New York, Massachusetts, Illinois, and things of that nature. And what's been happening is that we're having a large number of refugees that they're leaving their countries of origin, mainly in Latin America. And what they're doing is they're trying to escape whatever is the conditions that compel them to leave their respective countries to come to the United States. Now, what has been the situation is in the states of Texas and Florida, the governors, which happen to be Republican, they have chosen to send these refugees to other states and municipalities And the whole purpose behind that is that they want President Biden to address the refugee situation. Uh, I don't want to get too much into the politics uh, behind it because there is a human story behind these individuals. These individuals, for whatever reason, whether it be because their safety or whether it becomes under some sort of persecution, they are compelled to leave their countries of origin and seek asylum in the United States. And what's been happening is that there's been such large numbers of refugees entering in these cities that it's posing multiple challenges for these individuals. One of the biggest challenges that they are facing is trying to find emergency housing for these individuals. Okay. Of course, one of the cities that's been affected by this refugee influx has been our city of New York, where they've been compelled, compelled to create emergency shelters, other hotels, and other facilities to temporarily house and feed and provide their basic needs to these individuals. Also, what's been happening is that with the large influx of refugees, the city of New York has asked employees from the Department of Social Services to volunteer their time to assist with dealing with these refugees. That's something that I have been doing. Now, I'm not going to get into further details regarding what it is that I do because the nature of my job, and I rather would keep the focus in regards to these refugees. And some people will say, well, they should return to their countries and fix the situation that's going on over there. Well, first of all, that would be the ideal solution. The problem is, one, we do not know what's happening in these countries, whether it be Mexico, whether it be Venezuela, whether it be any country in Latin America. We don't know what's the situation, and we don't know what will be the consequences if we do decide to compel these people to return to their countries of origin. We might be exposing these individuals to dangers, harm, or even death. Not to mention the fact that you have people who are living in a strange country, having to adapt to the strange and folk ways, and then one big problem is trying to find bilingual personnel to assist with them, just for their basic needs. So it's truly a humanitarian problem that many cities and states are dealing with. In fact, I'm going to be devoting a whole stream regarding this topic on Thursday night. So I'm sure many of you will have an opinion either way. Maybe we're doing too much for these people. Maybe we're not doing enough for these people. I mean, what have you. We will have a discussion on that topic Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, and 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Now, I really would appreciate it for those who will get into the chat or will join the panel on Thursday, if we can get some people from either from New York or Massachusetts or Illinois or any of these states when they're dealing with the refugee problem, or people from the states from Texas and Florida to discuss their point of view. Because we must bear in mind there is two sides to every story, and we need to give an accurate and truthful take on this discussion. So hopefully we'll have a lot of interaction on Thursday. Okay. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving you a recap of the topics that we discussed this week. Now, on Tuesday, we had a discussion regarding how to deal with disappointments. And as I alluded to, um, many times we have to face disappointments, whether it be disappointments in our own personal lives, whether it be disappointments with people that we work with, or our loved ones, or people who we counted on to do certain things, not to come through when needed, or the times when we have disappointed others. Because I know in my case, I know there have been times that I have disappointed loved ones. I have disappointed friends and close close allies that counted on me for whatever reason, and then there have been times when I have not met their expectations. So we got into a discussion regarding that. We discussed regarding what are some of the things um, that can cause disappointments. Um, some of them have to do with the fact that we did not clearly articulate what's being expected, or maybe at times we have unrealistic goals and aspirations, which did lead to disappointments. So, and of course, by all means, if you have not had an opportunity to do so, you're more than welcome to catch it on the playback. Okay. So, also, um, on Thursday, we had a interesting discussion regarding what are the deal breakers, and that is pertaining in the area of relationships. So we had a discussion and what are some of the deal breakers. And we must bear in mind that what is a deal breaker for one is not a deal breaker for another. And it had to do with what you are expecting when it comes to relationships and dating. Because to be honest, when we all get into relationships, we have some expectations of what we look for in a potential partner. We have certain things that we are willing to negotiate with and deal without, but there's certain things which we will not tolerate the lack of, and it could be many things as far as what are deal breakers. Um, the whether it be the lack of honesty, the lack of commitment, whether it be not being faithful, whether it be not being on the same page when it comes to how they define a healthy relationship. Also, issues regarding finances, issues regarding whether or not they want children in the future. So these are certain things that could be deal breakers. Okay. Now this is the first time that I have come up in a long time. So just to give you an idea, what I look like. Okay. So it's very important when you seek a relationship. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to be honest with your potential partner, what it is that you're seeking in terms of a relationship, or simply in terms of a friendship. Okay? In other words, you need to set your boundaries as far as what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Okay? And then once you set your boundaries, if for some reason your potential partner does not observe the boundaries, then you need to deal with your potential partner and share with that person what is the issue and see whether or not you can negotiate or resolve those issues. If those issues are not able to be resolved, then the best thing is just to cut your losses and just move on to another relationship. Or what you can do is refrain from getting into relationships until whatever issues that develop in a relationship have been resolved. Now, I do see that there are 3 people currently watching this stream. I just want to say thank you very much. And again, I understand this is Saturday, which means people are going to be busy. And hopefully, other people will watch the streamline, or they'll catch it on the playback, which is perfectly fine. And again, the link is there if you want to join. You're also welcome to enter a comment. I do ask though is keep the comments respectable. Okay, there's no need to get insulting. There's no need to go negative. If you disagree with anything that's being said, that's perfectly fine. Just enter in the chat and state why. Or better yet, if you disagree with anything I said, get on a panel and state why what I'm saying is perceived to be wrong. There's nothing wrong when we have disagreements. And in fact, we can learn from disagreements. So that's something that I would like everyone to bear in mind. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a preview regarding next week's topics. Now, I have to admit, the topic for Thursday, it may be hard for some people to deal with, which is suicide is not the solution. Okay. Now, I did not know until recently, but September is Suicide Prevention Month. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to get into a discussion why people opt to commit suicide. Why is it that people that they're dealing with whatever's going on in their lives think that suicide is a acceptable solution? And one thing to bear in mind is that when you do take your own life, what happens is it leaves a lot of scars for the loved ones, because then they're thinking about why they didn't catch it, why they didn't see it, or maybe they didn't think that the person was serious. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to have a serious discussion regarding this topic. I'm going to have some resources for other people that to take advantage of. If you know someone that's thinking about committing suicide, or you have thought about it yourself, please to take advantage of those resources which will be given. And I understand that tonight on while on FaceTime, 8 o'clock on Kishan's channel, she's going to have a part 3 regarding mental health. And I'm sure some of those topics will come up as well. Okay. Also, I'm going to be sharing with all of you my personal story, how I dealt with thoughts of committing suicide. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. This has been a very difficult topic for me discuss, because unfortunately, men are taught to to show their feelings and not to be vulnerable and not to admit that we all need mental health. So hopefully, by me sharing my own personal story, that it will encourage others who are dealing with depression, who are dealing with thoughts of committing suicide, will will gain some courage and motivation to try to seek help and to show that that they are worth something, that they that they're valuable to themselves, that they must love themselves. Okay, now on Thursday, I'm going to be discussing further regarding the current refugee crisis here in the United States, and particularly in cities like New York, Boston, um, other places where I'm going to be discussing it, and try to give like a human side to this topic. Again, I'm not trying to get into the political side regarding who's right and who's wrong. I'm trying more to deal with the human side, with the fact that you have individuals that and families that for whatever reason they are were compelled to leave their countries to seek asylum in the United States. Now, when it comes to um, the stream which I do towards the end of the week, which I call open discussion, most likely it's going to be on a Saturday or a Sunday. Okay. The reason why, because this Friday I will be occupied with other activities. So I will let everyone know by either Tuesday or Thursday. And of course, I will have open discussion, meaning I'll discuss different topics. And of course, you, the audience, will have a possibility to share what topics we that you want to have discussed. So that's something to bear in mind. Now, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is possible future collaborations. Now, every now and then, I will ask another YouTube creator to be a co-host with me. Um, Now, basically, what I normally would do is I will usually reach out with one of my moderators um, and see if one of them are available to co-host with me. And the reason why is because that individual will have uh, something to add to the panel. Okay. And of course, I do have several moderators. I have several individuals who are part of my core group. People like the 18th letter, people like the introvert Boricua, people like Marcel, um, Gigi, James Maps, Hazel. Um, so what I'm going to be doing from time to time, depending on the topic at hand, I'm going to ask individuals if they would be available to co-host with me so we can bring their point of view. Because the reality is this: I don't know everything. Now, I do try to research as much as I can regarding a topic so I can at least have an intelligent discussion. But there might be things that I have overlooked. So, for that reason, why I will be seeking out to have someone to co-host. Particularly when it comes to issues regarding the biracial or multiracial community, I will also reach out to those YouTube creators if they will be available. Now, just for your point of information, I do have individuals who are part of that community. And I see here we have Magic Mulata. Good afternoon. How are you doing today? Thank you very much for stopping by. If you are able, Magic, the link is there. If you wish to join the panel, if you're not able because you are a mother, you are a housewife, a wife, and you do have many responsibilities to do. So I would understand it. So if you're not able to join the panel, perhaps you can end a comment. Maybe it's a comment that you may want us to discuss. Okay, let's see here. I'm so glad to hear that, and you know what? It was a very interesting discussion that we had on the Future is Golden's channel regarding MTN and why they're being shamed. Because, and for those who have not done so, last night on the Future is Golden's channel, there was a discussion regarding MTN, which is I think it's multi-generational mix. Basically, these are the offspring of biracial parents. So, they had a serious discussion regarding that and some of the things that they have to deal with and some of the shaming that they experience. Yes, it was. So I'm gonna ask that if you have not had an opportunity, please check the Future is Golden's channel, and you will see by for yourself. When it comes to issues regarding um, the Golden Sphere or the biracial or multiracial community, what I will do is I will try to reach out to a member of that community and see if they are available to co-host with me so we can have a serious discussion. Okay. And I know that I would enjoy it very much. And hopefully, someone from the community will be able to co host with me. Okay. Again, Magic, if you wish to join the panel, it's there. If you're not able, I do understand. Now, another thing I want to talk about what will be some topics in the future. Um, I haven't had a clear direction where I want to go. Now, for the month of August, I did spend a considerable amount of time discussing issues where ladies can't relate to. Um, I'm probably going to try to have some, have some more of those topics. Also have some topics where the men can relate to. Um, and also, depending on what's going on in the news, I might have a topic related to something that's newsworthy. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to pay close attention to the news and see what topic, what's okay, and perhaps we can get some activity on the panel. Now, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is closed panels. Now, to be perfectly honest, I've been a serious YouTube creator for over a year. Now, I have never done a closed panel. And the reason why I've never done so is that one thing I try to do is create and make a safe space for everyone who wish to discuss the topics as mature adults. Okay. And I have dealt with some topics. Some of them have been very spicy. Some of them have been controversial. And at times it gotten a little bit um, spicy with some of the interaction with some members of the chat, with one or two members of the panel. Okay, I don't mind it if things get a little spicy now and then, but when it gets to be to the point when it gets to be disrespectful towards the guests or me, or disrespectful among the people in the chat, that's where I draw the line. What I would do is I would try to keep the panels open as much as I can, as long as we're able to have a serious discussion regarding the topic without people getting upset, without people going negative, or without people insulting, or without people going nuclear. Now, if I do decide to have closed panels, I'll let everybody know ahead of time, meaning that in order to join the panel, you will have to get in through the link. Okay. Now, what I'm going to be doing is talking about possible streams in Spanish. Now, those of you who have followed me for any length of time know from time to time, I do construct streams completely in Spanish, or mostly in Spanish. And the reason why for that, it's simple. I do have a small, but Spanish-speaking audience that does not speak English. So therefore, what I try to do is once in a while, I'll have streams on topics that's completely in Spanish. Now, it gets a little bit of a challenge because when I do streams in Spanish, usually the attendance does not go well. Okay. And there are times when I actually have done everything by myself. So what I try to do is I try to prepare with enough notes and material. So therefore, if I end up doing it as a monologue in Spanish, at least I can have a discussion, and then perhaps I can have interaction with those in the chat. This does not mean, however, that if anybody enters a comment in English, I will address it in English as well, okay? Because the whole point is not to alienate anybody, but I would like people to understand that there will be times when we have topics in Spanish, and that's to do with issues regarding the Latino community. We must bear in mind that every community has their own issues to deal with. The African American community has their issues, and then you have certain aspects, whether it be ADOS or FBA or what have you, and Pan-Africanism. And then you have the LGBTQ plus community that have their issues, and also with the biracial and multiracial community. They have their issues, and within that community, you have certain subgroups like MGNs. You have light-skinned biracials, and all different segments of the community. Magic, I'm sure if you're still watching, you can list some of the other different subcategories regarding the biracial, multiracial community. I apologize, it's just that it's kind of hard for me to remember every different aspect of the Golden Sphere, because technically I'm not part of the Golden Sphere. I'm more of an outsider. It's just that I do have a great deal of love with several members of the Golden Sphere. So if I seem a little ignorant, please forgive me. And it's not meant to be intentional. It's just that I'm still learning about all of you. So let me just say a few words in Spanish. Okay. En el futuro, vamos a tener programaciones completamente en español. Y el motivo por eso es lo siguiente. Yo tengo una audiencia que no es mucho, pero hay personas que no hablan inglés. Entonces, que yo trato de hacer para el beneficio de ellos, a tener programación completamente en español que se trata de nuestros problemas, que nuestras situaciones. Eso no quiere decir, si hay una persona que entra un comentario en inglés, entonces yo voy a saludar a ellos en inglés. Solamente que quisiera que ustedes de la comunidad que hablan en inglés, que entienden y sepan que habrá momentos que vamos a hablar completamente en español con respecto de nuestras situaciones, nuestros temas, nuestros problemas. Cada comunidad tiene sus propios temas para hablar. Por ejemplo, la comunidad americana africana, ellos tienen sus propios temas. Con respecto de la comunidad afroibérica, ellos tienen sus propios temas y problemas para hablar. Con respecto de miembros del Ed Goldenstein, ellos también tienen sus propias situaciones, problemas internos para hablar. Entonces, nosotros, los latinos, que consiste a nosotros que nacieron aquí en Estados Unidos o nacieron afuera, también tenemos estos problemas y estos temas para hablar. So that being said, just want you, all of you, to please bear that in mind. Okay? Because unfortunately, the last time that I did a stream completely in Spanish, there was a couple people, well, actually one or two people who got upset about why we were speaking in Spanish about our topics. Okay? If that person was been following me, I had discussed this at least 2 weeks ahead of time. So just bear that in mind. You will be advised well in advance. So I just want you, all of you, to please bear that in mind. Now, the other thing I'm going to be talking about is the schedule where I go live. I'm going to try to keep it more or less the same. However, there will be times when I'll be tweaking it a little bit, and the reason for that is that depending what my schedule would be, I might have to do a slight shifting regarding the days and the hours where I will do live streams. And also, another thing to bear in mind is that I also support other YouTube creators as well. Okay. Among those that I do support are the 18th Leather, the Intruder Boricua, also Radical Latino, also people like Gigi, Multi, Magic. So it's, I'm currently dealing with multiple channels that I do support. And sometimes there's a situation where I will be live and one of the people I support with will also do a stream at the same time. Now, I do try very hard not to have a stream the same time that my supporters do. Part of it has to do with the fact that I want to support their channels as well as they have supported my channel too. Also, many of us have the same audiences. So I do try to not have a scheduled stream when one of my supporters has a stream on. The reality is, there's going to be days it's not going to it's not, it will not be avoidable. And those who, for whatever reason, are unable to catch my streams live, they can always catch it on the playback. Okay. And we must bear in mind, we all have busy schedules. Many of us work, many of us go to school, many of us have family and other responsibilities to deal with. So not everyone is going to have the time to sit behind a laptop or sit by a TV or watch by a mobile device, uh, whether it be the Radical Latino Show, whether it be my channel, whether it be the Intro Rubrica, or what have you. So that being in mind, I just have to, be understanding, and hopefully those who I support, if I'm doing a stream, just be mindful that the times where I cannot change my schedule. And when everything is said and done, we have to look as far as what's convenient for us as YouTube creators. Okay. We have to think about our own content. We have to think about our own platform. We have to think about, because when everything is said and done, these channels that we create, it's a part of us, and it's a created art. So therefore, there's going to be times where we're going to have conflict in scheduling. Okay. So just have to bear that in mind. And of course, there's always a possibility that I can catch something from the Radical Latino Show on the playback, or the 18th Letter, or Christina, or True Teacher. Okay. It's all good. It's all good. Now I see that there are right now 3 people watching the stream. Now what I'm gonna ask is the following. For those of you who are currently watching, do you have any topics that you want me to discuss? By all means, I'm gonna ask if you do. I would appreciate it if you enter a comment in the chat, and then we'll discuss it. Now, there might be certain topics where I may not be very knowledgeable, and I will admit that. And what I will just do is I will just give a view according to my point of view. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the link one more time, because basically I've been talking for about 45 minutes. Okay. And one thing that I will discuss, which is, there are times where I'll be on panels, and then sometimes it can get very heated because people have strong points of view. So generally, what I do is the following. I just sit back, not saying anything, and watch the fireworks go. Or what I will do is, if it gets to the point when I don't want to deal with it, I will just simply exit and let my host know that I'm leaving. Of course, I was always say thank you and show my appreciation for allowing me on their platform. Because when everything is said and done, they dictate who gets on the panel and who does not. I mean, I recently had a situation where um, I was welcome in the past to join the panel, and then one time was not allowed. Why? I don't know. But when everything is said and done, each host has the right to allow or not allow those to enter the panel. And when that happens, guess what? You're not going to see me on those. You're not going to see me on those panels again, because when everything is said and done, I do not go where I'm not welcome. And that's the case. Fine. Okay. There are other platforms which have graciously allowed me to enter their panels to share my point of view. So life goes on. And in the future, excuse me, it's just that I get, after speaking for almost an hour, I get thirsty. Oh, and by the way, it's iced tea I'm drinking. What was I saying? Now going in the future, when it comes to like who's going to be banned from my channel, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to state it here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the information privately with my moderators and let them know why I'm requesting certain individuals to be banned on the channel and the why. Okay. The reason why I choose to go through this route is that I don't want to bring any unneeded attention to certain individuals who don't have anything productive to say or wish to cause a disruption regarding this platform. Because when everything is said and done, I'm trying to provide a safe space for those of you who do feel comfortable either joining my platform or entering your comments in the chat. Now, I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I don't believe in censoring people. And what I mean is this. You can say whatever you wish. And if you want to swear, that's perfectly fine. Where I do draw the line, when you start saying disrespectful things or hurtful things to anyone on the panel, which includes me, your servant, or you're saying disrespectful or hurtful things to those in the chat. Okay. We can have disagreements. That's perfectly fine. And there may be times when people are angry with others for whatever reason. And some of you might feel justified, which is perfectly fine. However, what I am not going to allow is people to show disrespect to anyone in the chat or anyone on the panel. This is my platform was never created for that type of environment. I know that for some people, I'm not their cup of tea. For some people, I consider boring, and that's fine. Okay, because you do have literally millions of YouTube creators out there um, to pick with as far as what is your content. And before I go, um, I just want to say for those that, that have not been appearing on my platform, I just want to know that I miss all of you very much. I mean, I do understand that there are times when you're all busy with your lives. Um, many of many of you work. Many of you have families. Many of you have other responsibilities, and there may be other things that um, that requires your time and your attention. Um, I will continue to send the link to the usual people, which I do send on a regular basis, and hopefully in the near future, at least some of them, will be available um, to express their point of view. And again, I do understand people are busy, and sometimes it could just be a matter of timing. Timing may not be good, or maybe it's a topic that some people feel they may not be able to relate to, which is perfectly fine. Um, what I will ask, if you do have any topics that you want me to discuss, by all means, you can always put it in the chat. Those of you who do follow me on social media, um, by all means, you can hit me up on Instagram, and then what I will do is I will do the research and I will discuss it. Again, I do miss all of you, but I understand there are times when you have other things that require your attention. And when everything is said and done, YouTube, it's a hobby. It's a time to it's a platform uh, to share different topics. Let me just send a text for a moment, please. I'll be right. Please give me a moment. Um, Actually, at this point, I should be able um, to talk and text at the same time. Okay. But the reality is, I'm not exactly the most tech savvy person in the world. I mean, and to be perfectly honest, that's been brought to my attention on multiple occasions. And I know for a fact that at times my Wi Fi connection has not always been the best. Everyone is familiar with all the struggles that I have had pertaining to my Wi Fi. I'm happy to say it seems like that issue has been resolved. Okay. But I gotta admit, at times it was funny. hearing some of the comments, particularly um, if you remember what the internet connection used to be in the early 2000s, when you literally have to use a telephone hookup to get a Wi-Fi connection. So, it was humorous. At times, and I have to admit, at times, it get a little bit frustrating. I mean, and you see some of my earlier streams where I'm literally fighting with the server, with my server speed, trying to conduct a live stream. And of course, remember the times where I've been constantly removed from the platform, and then I have to refresh the servers multiple times, and I um, have to apologize multiple times regarding the quality of my internet service, because believe it or not, I do try to produce a quality product. So therefore, whenever my Wi-Fi sucked, that was not a good thing. But I'm happy to say that issue seemed to be resolved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop to wrap it up, because apparently no one else is going to join the panel. No one else have any other comments. But the link is there if you do want to participate. Okay. Now, as I stated before, this coming Tuesday, I will be discussing the topic regarding that suicide is not the solution. And I see here we have Don Armando. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing today? I see here that the stream that you have scheduled for last night will be rescheduled. I think it's going to be Monday, um, or maybe I'm mistaken. If you want to join, if you want to, the link is there. If you want to join the panel, and or if you have any topics that you want to discuss, by all means, do so. If not, I do understand. Okay. Okay. Well, you know what? That's a good thing. It's very important to spend time with with your better half and the family. So I do understand. Okay. So Tuesday I will be discussing the topic suicide is not the solution. So hopefully we can have a serious discussion regarding the topic. And of course, I will do everything I can to make sure that people feel comfortable to share if they choose to share. If people choose not to share, that's perfectly fine. And on Thursday, I will be discussing again the situation with the refugee situation that's happening in New York and other sanctuary cities. Um, and again, my function is not to try to politicize it, but just to give like a human side to the tragedy. I'm probably going to do another stream either Saturday or Sunday. I have to see. Okay, I see. Okay, so let me just bring in my guests. Before I bring in my guests, the views of those who appear on the channel are not necessarily those of the host of the channel. Any attempt to copy the material is prohibited. By appearing on the call, you waive the rights to the image, your rights to the image. The views that people might hold may be considered to some people. If you just like a channel, you can. And now I'm gonna bring in. Okay. Wait a minute. See.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
Hey, how you doing?
Let me. Oops.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. Let me.
Cool,
Okay.
please.
Let me try to start. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Let's try it now.
All right. Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you
Oops.
doing? I'm just here,
Okay.
relaxing somewhere. I don't even know where I'm at, but just
Okay. Because as
chillaxing.
we speak, my Wi-Fi is acting up.
Yeah, it happens.
Okay. Just give me a moment.
All right.
Okay. Oh dear Lord. Okay. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. How you doing today?
I'm all right. Just chillaxing and everything like that. I'm gonna be gone, but I was just like I'm gonna pop in a few.
Okay. Well, first of all, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'm not. It's just that today we're having open discussion, so we're discussing a lot of things. Also sharing some things that's on my mind. Now I'm gonna have some serious discussions for next week.
Yeah.
Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about how suicide is not the solution, and then on Thursday, I'm going to be dealing with the situation with the refugee situation here in New York and other cities.
Yeah. I think I'll actually put my input on your
Yeah.
Tuesday stream.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing some resources. If anyone in the audience knows anyone that's dealing with thoughts of committing suicide, of course, there's the suicide hotline. There's also NYC Well. So I'm going to be sharing several resources. And if people feel safe, um, they can share their own personal experiences. However, no one is obligated to share if they don't want to share it because it is a very sensitive topic.
Yeah, I know.
So, so are you in Philly or you here in New York?
No, I'm actually outside of Philly. I'm still in the state of Pennsylvania. I just don't know where I'm at, to tell you the truth. So it's just one of those places. I can't really say wherever I'm at. I just know that I'm here in the state of Pennsylvania, but somewhere way upper than Philadelphia.
Well, you know what? Sometimes it's better not to share because unfortunately, you
You
do
heard
have to
what
deal
happened.
with the will.
Then on top of it, you heard what happened to that rapper. Rest in peace to him,
Mhm.
because his wife went up and not his wife, his girlfriend went up and shared the direction where they was eating at. The next thing you know, they went up, robbed him and ended his life. So it's like
That's
it's like right now, people can do that. But since I'm a certain figure or whatever the case may be in certain circles, I would not do that. That's why if I'm going to share a location, I share a location somewhere obscure where the people that do hate me will try to find me. They will not have the funds to actually find me. Like for
yeah.
example, I could say that I'm in Amsterdam and I could be in China. So
Yeah, it's understood, and, because unfortunately we have haters, and for whatever reason, and sometimes the people who at one point was friends of ours can all of a sudden become haters as well.
I mean, yeah, but then there's certain people that hate you just because, like, for example, let's say a person grew up and they hate your family, right? So apparently, whatever you do, whatever the case may be, that person will hate you, even if you were to treat them nice or whatever, because of the family loyalty or whatever. They can't be with you, or they can't stand you or whatever. So sometimes hatred is that deep. Sorry to
Yeah,
say.
yeah, I agree. I agree. But something, the fact of the matter is, I'm fortunate because I do have a lot of people who do support this channel.
Yes. I mean,
Okay.
I'm fortunate as well
And
because I mean, I guess I'm fortunate as well. I just hopefully to try to get better with my contents and everything like that. So I mean, right after my trip, I'm just gonna try to buy certain tools that could help me, maybe some podcast tools or whatever, because in the long run, I'd say like around November, if everything goes right, I might just start my own podcast. The only thing is though, I don't know which avenue I'm gonna use. If I'm gonna use the YouTube avenue, if I'm gonna go to well, not so much Clubhouse. I know that there's a lot of platforms you could put on as a podcast. So if I get like the right space and everything like that to make a podcast, and or if I establish myself with a bunch of artists that want to be promoted, I'll actually try to make that podcast happening and welcoming, because within the
yeah,
rap game right now, there's a lot of hate, there's a lot of disrespect, there's a lot of people who do not treat artists professionally, or what happens the case is you got a person that's in your podcast and then you try to berate them within that podcast when the fact is you're trying to at least get what that person is saying. And I've seen that like in English platforms and Spanish platforms also. So I'm trying to alleviate all that. I'm like to make the artists feel welcome, and hopefully, if they feel that if there's questions that they don't want to answer, I will not go around and force the issue, because not everybody's going to give up what they're going to do.
that is true. Now,
Yeah.
as far as podcast is concerned, I think one person that you can speak to, you know, is the Radical Latino. I mean, he's been doing his podcast for a long time, so
Yeah.
he might be
Yeah.
able to give you some technical.
I'm gonna shoot a text to him later on. So I'm about to be out. Don Jose, it was nice having you on your platform. So
Well,
I'll
thank you for stopping. Thank you for stopping by.
anytime, Don Jose.
Okay, cuídate. So, it was nice, the fact, and I really appreciate the fact that even though Don Armando was very busy, with his loved ones and what have you, the fact that he, showed some love and spent some time with me, I really do appreciate it very much. Okay. So at this point, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to wrap it up. I just want to, of course, give a huge shout out to Don Armando, Magic, Malata, James, and MK, for their commentary in the chat. And also a huge shout out for Don Armando for appearing, on the platform and sharing his thoughts. Now, going forward, I'm going to be using a new saying, when I end my stream. And basically, the saying is going to be, let us be good to each other and ourselves. The reason why is that we have been through so much the last 2.5 years. First of all, dealing with this whole C-19 stuff, and also dealing with the monkeypox, and also dealing with the fact that millions of people have lost their livelihood, or they're seeing their wages being reduced, or having problems paying their rent or their food and what have you, and not to mention other people that have experienced marital difficulties. Also, there's been an uptick regarding domestic violence for multiple reasons, and unfortunately, there has been an increase in people committing suicide. Because unfortunately, those who did have mental health issues prior to 2020, those issues have gotten worse. So that's the reason why the new ending is, let us be good to ourselves and to each other. And when I mean good, please make sure that you take care of yourselves physically, mentally, spiritually. And if anyone does need to speak with someone, by all means, reach out to a family member or a friend or your spouse. And if for some reason they are not available, or maybe they're the ones that causing the grief, there's always therapy. Okay. And there are places where you can get therapy, sometimes for free or low cost, depending on what's your economic situation. With that being said, it's been my pleasure, to spend my time with you, and I appreciate the fact that all of you allow me to enter in your devices and share something when you can never get back, which is time, and the fact that some of you stayed the entire 75 minutes or so to listen to me speak. It means a great deal. So that being said, hopefully I'll catch you Tuesday. And I just want to say, take care and peace.
Be strong.